Hey friend, Stephanie here from Breenard Farmette. Today I just wanted to talk about our honeybees. So the first thing we did before we even moved to our house in our new property here in the Farmette is we got our bees here. We had considered doing bees in our old property, which was in a suburban area neighborhood, and it was allowed to have them. But we decided not to. So today I'm going to talk about why we wanted bees, why we decided to wait, what we're looking to do with them, etc. So we got chickens 2 summers ago, and last summer we were trying to think through what do we want to do next? What's the next thing to add? And we thought honeybees because they're small, they don't take a lot of space. So we thought they wouldn't be intrusive in terms of the size of land that we had. And we were, hoping to have honey as, something that we were taking on ourselves in terms of what we were growing and supporting ourselves with. But because we were in a neighborhood, we felt personally like we wanted to, respect that neighborly relationship. And so just as we did with our chickens, we checked with our neighbors on either side, just said, here's what we're thinking. Is this something you'd be comfortable with? Our one neighbor was totally okay with it. But the neighbor on the other side, they were an elderly couple, and they'd had some negative experiences around, wasps, wild bees, probably wasps, probably not native single bees. But anyway, they'd had some negative experiences. And so that wasn't something that they were comfortable with. And this couple has been in their home for decades, and we wanted to respect them. And I know not everybody would have made the same choice. It's your land, do what you want. But for us, that felt like the right choice. A few months later, we found our property, and so we decided to move forward with getting bees. Another big motivation for us to go ahead and move forward with getting the bees was my husband's sister expressed to us that she was really, really interested in, over time, developing her own beekeeping business and apiary, and that was something she was really passionate about. And this was something that we were also interested in. And so we thought, well, hey, why don't we, go on this joint journey together? So we were also really excited about that. And she helps us take care of the bees, and we're really excited come spring to do our first honey extraction. Now, in terms of getting the bees and the hives, there's a few ways you can go about it. You can order all the different elements on Amazon even, or other, sites, and just have it delivered and set it up yourself. That's totally fine. That's probably a less expensive option than what we went with. But what we decided to do was find a local beekeeper who had his own business, and part of his business is selling hives and nooks and queens and coming out and helping you set them up. And then he also, as part of the payment for the hives, will come and help service them. And that's something that we really wanted to have some guidance on, especially the first season. And so whenever we could, we came outside when he was there doing things and would join in that, learn about it. And he was really great about, sharing information, and just, loved that we were out there, able to help and to learn. So his name is Ray, from his business Highwire Honey here in the central New York area. He's in Lafayette specifically. So if you're in central New York, go ahead and visit the regional market. He has his products there, or you can find him on Facebook. But he's been super helpful, and we're so grateful to him. And for us, we just decided, having that guide would be really beneficial, especially the first season or two, as we were learning the ropes. I could really see after, going through having the hives the first season, that it would have been really easy to make a lot of mistakes and not know when we should have done certain things. And one of our hives struggled anyway. And so it just seemed like, why wouldn't we connect with someone that knew what they were doing if it was going to give us more success with the hives and enable that to have a better outcome? We're really excited, as I said, to do our first honey extraction this coming spring, summer. And what we're hoping to do is, first off, have enough honey for ourselves and, some of our immediate family to have. But we're also hoping to have enough to sell to a couple local shops. We have a chocolate shop that would be interested in using it in some of their products, and a couple other local shops that we've touched base with and talked to about. My sister-in-law, who helps with the bees, has been really awesome on that front, kind of putting out feelers and talking with people. So that's kind of the plan for the bees. And so something else that I wanted to cover was bees and kids. So that was something that we considered. We know that none of our kids are allergic. We know that we're not allergic. But having thousands of bees on a property, it does raise a risk for those kinds of things. And looking back on it now, our old property, it would have been hard to, they would have gotten stung. It was a smaller piece of land. We were all over that piece of land. It just would have been harder to have sort of a buffer to ensure that we could really reduce the likelihood of our kids getting stung frequently. The setup we have now is great. Where we have the bees is in a part of our property that we aren't actively in all of the time, but it is in full sun, which is what is ideal for bees. If you give them a good radius, like what I tell the kids, don't go beyond this tree. But what it really is, it's about 20 to 25 feet. The bees pass, they come out of the hive and then they go right up. And they're not spread out a ton, not a ton. That few feet right around the hive, you're going to see lots of bees. But as you spread out, you would not even notice that they are on our property. The only time that, we see bees out and about around the property a lot is when we've been actively in there working with them. And then they're kind of flustered around and more are out than usual. So that really has not been an issue with the kids at all. Depending on what we do in the future, if we ever have a situation where we have people coming on farm to do classes or things like that, I'll probably put up some type of, T-post and wire fencing just to kind of give people a visual boundary, as they're walking around the farmette, hey, this is where the bees are, this is the space, buffer zone, just to keep that easy. My kid's drawing back there. That's the 4-year-old. Not sure what it is. Probably a kind of monster. But little boys, what can I say? Let's talk about the gear that we needed to start with. So, the main few tools that you need are a hive tool, which is basically this particularly shaped metal stick that you use to pry open and pry apart the different parts of the hive, because all of the bees' secretions they make to seal everything up, and so everything gets stuck together really quickly. So this is a great tool to help you open the hive and separate the frames so that you can pull things out and examine the bees. Another tool that is essential is a smoker, and that is to when you're working with the bees, the smoke just kind of helps dull them down so that they're less likely to swarm, they're less likely to get agitated and sting. The other essential tool for us as the beekeepers is a bee suit. So that is a full upper body, loose fitting suit with a headgear that zips all the way around, and then bee gloves that go over that and come all the way up to the elbows. You're gonna need thick, loose jeans, and then some thick boots. The idea here is that you're covering all of the areas where the bees would be likely to sting and to go for you. Let's talk about getting stung. So my sister-in-law, Gina, my husband, and myself, who are the ones that work with the bees, we have each gotten stung. The time I got stung is because I was being a little silly and I took off my glove to hold my phone and take a video for Instagram and I got stung. And everybody else, oh, my sister-in-law got stung on her legs, and I think, that was kind of like, we weren't wearing the proper loose-fitting jean attire, and so they were able to sting through the material. And my husband actually got stung on the forehead, but that was when Ray, our mentor Ray, and his assistant were here working with the bees. My husband was standing far off, but one still flew all the way out and got him on the forehead. So it's been pretty mild, honestly. Like, they've all been what I would call maybe avoidable stings, like if we had just done things a little bit differently. And so, I think it's a pretty avoidable thing. I don't think you can prevent it completely, but there's lots of situational things that you can do to really reduce those chances of getting stung.
That wraps up everything that you need to know about our bee process getting started, and we're looking forward to our first season of honey collection. Stay tuned for more videos and like and subscribe. Bounty and blessings. Till next time.